Welcome to Barely But Here. This is Bert. That's me. Today I'm going to be reading Wednesday morning's diary entry for my time in a psychiatric hospital. And this was this was the second morning I woke up in the facility. So it was a different experience. And here we go. Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Second morning waking up here. My sleep was better. Woke up a handful of times versus the previous night, waking up what felt like a dozen times. Cried myself to sleep last night, second night in a row. Feeling very heavy and sad. Thought about why I'm in here when going to sleep last night. And it was crying myself to sleep each night. I then go to Wednesday afternoon. That was all I had written in the morning. And let me read that again. Yeah, that last sentence kind of didn't make any sense. Probably because I was upset. Reading it again, it's written as I read it, but it just kind of is nonsensical. It'll be in the transcript. So now I'm at Wednesday afternoon, and I now have switched to my book. I got my book. Oh, which brings me to something I wanted to share. So up until Wednesday afternoon, I didn't have my little hardcover book here. So I think I mentioned I brought a bag of personal items because I know I was going in there for a few days. I knew I would need things, toothbrush, toiletries, that kind of stuff. And I knew I wanted to bring this because I knew I wanted to write about what was going on because I wanted to record it to do something like this. So what was interesting is that when I checked in, I handed them my bag and basically they put it behind the counter. The counter being a literal counter, but it's also encased in glass, but it also has a way for you to just speak and they can hear you on the inside and vice versa. It's not like talking to the bank teller or anything like that. It wasn't through any kind of speaker system. They just had the glass set up in a way where your voice can just travel, or the sound waves can make it through. So anyway, back to the thing at hand. They took my bag, they keep it behind the counter. And at first I didn't understand why they did that until I got my hands on some items. For instance, I wanted to take notes for the first night, the first couple nights I was in there, and all I had to write on, because I didn't have my book yet, was the back of this mindful writing prompt from a group session. So my Tuesday and Wednesday morning things are on this piece of paper, and I put pens and markers in my bag, and I asked them for those, and I could not get them. I was given a pen, this pen here, and I had never seen the pen like this. It's very tiny. That's to see up against my hand. What's wild is you can just bend the shit out of it and just kind of goes back. It's just barely big enough for me to hold it in my hand like this and scribble away. This is basically so people aren't hurting themselves with pens. Like, I wouldn't even have thought that, but apparently it's a thing, sadly. Um, yeah, there was this. The toothbrush is interesting too. If I can get my hands on that, maybe in another uh, read from another day, I'll have it with me. Um, but I did want to share this. I did want to share um, the thing about the book and the paper. Uh, yeah, it was just interesting to be limited in what I had access to, even though it was my own stuff. Um, this they did give me. However, however, I just remembered on the back here, there are these two little things. And what was here was a band that went around the book. So if I could close it, put a little mark in here, close it, and the band would keep it shut so it wouldn't fly open. They would not give me the book unless I took the band off, cut it off. So that's what I did. It's cut there and there. I don't have a band on it. So what I do is wrap it in a rubber band. So here we are on Wednesday afternoon. At this point, I would have had breakfast in the morning when you wake up. The night before, you fill out a breakfast, lunch, and dinner sheet. Every day they give you the meal sheet. And basically that is, so you have a few they give you a choice, which is nice. And for dietary reasons and restrictions. So that was very considerate. So you check off boxes for what you want. You know, I want apple juice, orange juice, what have you. Iced tea for a lunch and coffee in the morning, that kind of thing. So that shows up in the morning. That's brought and delivered into the facility, and all of the utensils. None of it you can hurt yourself with. So they're thinking about these things, and I would have eaten breakfast. And then typically there was one or two group sessions between breakfast and lunch because there was a little bit of alone time in there too. So here is Wednesday afternoon, and this is just after lunch. This is the 8th of January, 2025. Wednesday afternoon. Been here over 24 hours now. Just had lunch and a nice conversation with Jennifer, a fellow participant. I'm finding this experience to be beneficial. However, I'm anxious about leaving here with no money, no job, nada. I know my aunt will be on me about that. True. Meaning that she, wanted me to get on with things so that I could get back on my feet. Makes total sense. I don't know the fate of Matilda. Matilda is the name I gave to my car, a Golf Electric 2019. I don't know the fate of Matilda. Makes me sad to think about makes me sad to think about. Time to take a nap this afternoon after groups. Last bit, they said, cold ends tomorrow. Don't know if I get to leave tomorrow or Friday. Just back from 3 o'clock group, focusing on wellness, found the exercise helpful, and answering questions on the handout was a great reminder about the good things in life, in my life. Then I have a side note here. Self-confidence is something I need to work on. True, I have, and I'm still working on it. Back to the diary. I've been thinking a lot about what happens on the other side of this experience. When I get out, I'm unsure I'll have a car or a way to get around, and that's stressful because the places I can find work are miles away. I may have to ride a bike to work. I may need to buy a bike. At this point, I'm going to stop because the next entry on Wednesday, late afternoon, is its own reading. It's quite long. It's a few pages long. So we will end there. I'll just wrap up to say that in the day-to-day experience, there was a very interesting rhythm to the day. Like I said, the breakfast, one or two morning groups, some alone time. Then there was lunch. Then there was afternoon groups, and there was a significant chunk of alone time. Then I think the TV would get turned on, but not till the afternoon. Also, phones were kept away from you as well. So, however, they were given to you. If you're not causing any problems, you could get your phone, but only during certain hours of the day. And that isn't so much to take your phone away from you as it is to encourage you to plug in to other people and to be involved in group discussion, which I kind of jumped into head first. I kind of felt very much at the bottom. Only thing I had to do was go up. So what does it hurt to talk to somebody else? And in that experience, I found a lot of things in common with the people. And it was more on a human level. It had to do with how humans experience different kinds of intense things in their lives. Some people call it trauma. Some people call it, an episode. Some people call it family issues. It's labeled all kinds of things, but you can summarize it to say either in your family dynamic, or maybe it was one parent or more, or maybe it was an uncle, an aunt, who knows. But inside the family bubble, there was something that impacted you in a way that just changed how you see yourself, how you see the world. And it goes down a whole other rabbit hole. So for now, I'll wrap it up now. And the last bit I'll share is that I know from time to time I'll chuckle, laugh, what have you. And honestly, some people are like, dude, you're not depressed. Yeah, I am. I'm on medication like people are. And I still don't feel 100% well, but I feel well enough to do this, to open up a file on a computer or open up an app and hit record and hook up a microphone, and talk about my experience. I can do that. And the laughing, back to the laughing, it is sometimes a nervous reflex. Sometimes it's a it's a distancing thing. It's to maybe trivialize what I just said, to lessen its impact, like, oh, no big deal, that kind of thing. So I just want you to know that I'm very aware of the giggling and stuff, and I know for some people it really confuses the hell out of them. And I think I said in the previous episode that I shared that with the doctor when I was admitted, that I mask heavily. I use humor consistently. So that's why it's lighthearted and laughing. I try to keep it light, and it drains the shit out of me. So there you go. And with that, thanks for your time and attention. If you know of someone that could benefit from this kind of content, I would appreciate sharing it with someone. And if you'd like to support this content, I'd appreciate your subscription. So until next time, take care of yourself. Know that you're not